One of the most impactful stresses Sydney is suffering has been the lack of housing affordability as a result of the planning controls and the speculative property investments. This stress has conducted to a spatial segregation and to a decrease in social cohesion. Gentrification patterns and the disproportionate cost of housing have been forcing citizens from major cities in the world to live in poor housing precincts or to leave their communities pursuing more affordable homes in the fringes of the cities. Sydney is the most culturally diverse city, but unfortunately, social trust and cooperation between citizens have been declining as intolerance and isolation have been increasing. The degree to which citizens can interact with people from different backgrounds and different income spectrums broadly rely on where they live. To overcome this issue, strategies to improve public transportation have come about to connect communities and encourage cross-city visitations. But the absence of inclusionary planning that preserves housing affordability has not been considered as a cause of the degrading social cohesion. High attention has been placed to the lack of cooperation between citizens from different backgrounds, but there has been an omission between those with housing wealth and those without. One of the government solutions to face the housing shortage has been to propose planning controls to absorb areas on railway lines. The truth is, the housing supply has increased, but the prices have increased in parallel. It's been argued that this priority presents a high risk of turning into income enclaves. There are also critics on the basis that these higher density developments have negative effects within the neighborliness and the sense of community. It's worth to say that most of these critics do not take into consideration the layout of developments, and the built environment plays an important role in increasing the frequency of social interactions. Even if secure rentals are provided by the adoption of planning controls that impose developments to contribute towards affordable rental housing, this unequal housing system has been ignoring those citizens that don't qualify income-wise to apply for affordable housing subsidies, but at the same time cannot afford speculative market prices. So the question is, what inclusionary housing models have been successful in other cities to provide affordable housing as a means for more sustainable, equitable, and connected communities? Major cities have introduced specific actions to promote disruptive models of property ownership that are in between the subsidized and speculative approaches. These are community-led models that have been seen as a means to create sustainable ways of living where people feel actively connected to their place and their community. London has understood that the rising wealth inequalities and lack of diverse and quality affordable homes have urged communities to build connections. For that reason, funds have been launched to promote inclusionary zoning frameworks and community-led housing models, facilitating citizens to get involved in building and managing their homes. A recently delivered CLT project is in Clements. This project strengthens community connections from the development phase by appointing participatory design and planning workshops. In this case study, house prices were set accordingly with the median income in the area. Additionally, this model intends to maintain affordability permanently. Individuals are limited to sell their homes at a price that is proportional to the increase of the average of the local income. Berlin is also leader in community-led developments. Given their planning framework, any redevelopment project is demanded to set aside 30% of the land in favor of these models. Effective controls of land prices, encouragements of competitive bidding process, and accessible loans have been provided to citizens. These housing models engage residents in a corporation that designs, funds, and commissions their homes collectively. Residents can tailor their individual home needs and include a rich diversity of common facilities that can foster community interactions. Also, as the owners work collectively with the design consultants, these developments can save up to 30% of the costs. There's a strong relationship between the process of collectively shaping the outcomes and the sense of belonging to the site that can be viewed as an outcome of group building models. In saying so, this model connects different agendas. It delivers affordable housing, delivers livable common space, and aims to assemble community through collective efforts. Still, there is a risk associated with this model, as these kind of projects can become community self-selectors. We could consider to apply these models in the recently debated project of Waterloo, where the state government first intended to crowd 6,500 apartments in towers up to 4 stories. This strong densification, led by speculative development models, could mean the destruction of the community that the current tenants have been built for 50 years. In response to the opposition of the plan, the state government has submitted a different proposal to address one third of the site. Still, this solution doesn't seem enough to advocate for an inclusionary zoning framework. Considering the lessons learned from the case studies, an interesting plan of action to approach Waterloo redevelopment would first need to rebalance the mindset of housing. It is important that governments take provision of community-led models within their planning laws and give access to land and promote different ways they are used and taxed. There's also a need of proper government investments and flexible financial models. It is essential to appoint to participatory planning and design workshops and offer a rich diversity of common facilities, ensure permanent affordability, and aim for a more inclusive and human-scale built form. This plan of action success is at risk by correlating the time pressure to densify Waterloo and the inexperience that seniors got within these disruptive models. It is important to understand other case studies within a closer context. Additionally, by breaking up the redevelopment in 3 phases and not having an overall plan, the whole site can end in a segregated precinct. There's a need to address this challenge systematically. This will be crucial to face and recover together to shock events.